So today we'll be reading a short story in the Your Turn book. Okay, on page 167, 168, and then we'll start answering questions on 169 and 174. So the title of today's story is Ants Can Help. Remember that this week we've read stories about how animals work together as a team to help each other. Our first story this week was about fish and how some fish swim together. A bunch of fish can swim together as in a group, and they name this school. So some fish are big enough so they can swim alone. Some fish can swim with a partner, with another fish, and some fish are small in size and are not as so those especially small fish usually swim together as in a bunch to help each other out, okay? And we said a group of fish or that swim together is called a school. How do fish help each other by swimming together? They look for food together, they keep each other safe, and they keep away big fish. We also read in our second story about different animals and different teams that they work together in teams to protect each other, such as the goby fish and the blind shrimp. The blind shrimp cannot see, so the goby fish, when it feels danger or sense danger, it flicks its tail, and then the shrimp finds a hiding place and allows the goby fish to hide with it. We've read about the wild beast and the zebra, how they help each other find grass to eat and help each other and run away when there's danger, and other animals. Today we'll see how ants help each other. We all know that ants live together, right, in groups or colonies. Okay, so let's see how ants help each other from our story today. Ants can help. It is raining a lot. There is water all around. How can little ants stay safe? So the story begins by saying that when there's a lot of rain, there's water everywhere on the land. Okay, how can little ants stay safe? How can the ants that are very small insects keep each other safe? Let's find out. They will work together or do something together to protect each other or keep each other safe. On page 2, some ants help each other. They work as a team. They get in a circle and then they weave their legs together. So when it starts to rain, the ants work together as a team. What do? They spread their legs and they weave their legs together. So they move their legs and weave them together. Okay, the word weave means to stretch it and to attach each other like this. You feel like they're touching each other from the legs. So here the ants are touching each other from the legs, and they start to form something called a raft. Okay, so ants help each other and they work together as a team. So what do? They get into a circle and then they weave their legs together. Here, the meaning of weave, where they put their legs close, they make a circle and they put their legs around like this. Page 3. They make a raft. It is a raft of ants. The ants can stay on top of the water this way. Okay? So the ants, when they make a circle and they weave their legs, they make something called a raft. Okay? The raft of ants, the way they stretch their legs, they allows the ants to stay on top of the water instead of going or falling inside. Okay, so if you guys don't know what a real raft is, a real raft is like it's like a flat boat made out of logs or wood. But here the ants made a circle and they weave their legs so they can make a raft of ants and float instead of sinking into the water. They are floating on the water. Okay, now on page 4 it says the raft of ants float. They can wait for the rain to stop. They may reach land. Now that Now that's teamwork. So by making a circle and weaving their legs, the raft of ants float. Float means that they stay on top of the water instead of falling into the water. Okay, what do the ants do? They stay like this. The raft of ants stay floated on the water until the rain stops. Okay, then when the rain stops, they reach the land and then they walk or go back to their home. This is called teamwork. All right, so again, what happens when it starts to rain, and how ants work together to stay safe? They make a circle and they weave their legs. Here they made a circle and they weave their legs. What happens when they weave their legs? They form something called a raft. This is a raft of ants. And what does the raft of ants do? They float. What's the meaning of float? Means they stay above the water. They do not fall inside. So how long do they stay like this? They float on the water until the rain stops, and then they can reach the land again. Okay, now let's start answering the questions on page 169. Okay? If you have any problems, you go back to the story and look for the answers. All right? So, what can ants do in the rain? What can the ants do in the rain? In the rain, ants, they work together as a team. Okay? What do the ants do with their legs? We go back. So question number 1, the ants, they work, when it rains, they work together. What do they do with their legs? On page 2, it says here, the ants weave their legs. So answer for question number 2, ants weave their legs together. That's answer number 2. Question number 3, what do the ants make? What do the ants make when the ants weave their legs? When they make a circle and they weave their legs, they make something called a raft. Okay? How do the ants stay safe? They stay safe by making a raft and floating on the water. Okay, and that's work with a partner, read the passage aloud, pay attention. Okay, that's it. Okay, so these are the answers. What can ants do in the rain? We said the ants, they work together as a team to help each other. What do the ants do with their legs? They weave their legs together. When they weave their legs together, what do? They make a raft, and the raft helps them to float. How do the ants stay safe? They float on the water and until the rain stops. On page 174, okay, it wants you to, we said that each story has a main idea and key details, right? So here they gave us some sentences from the story. We will find which one is the main idea and which ones are the detail. Remember that each story tells about one thing. So there's only one main idea. So when we read a story, we have to think, what is the story about? Okay? The story is about how ants work together as a team when it rains, or how ants work together. That's the main idea. Okay? What are the details? The details are sentences from the story, or the important sentences from the story to tell us more about the main idea. Okay? So let's just read them all first and find which one is the main idea. Number 1, it is raining a lot. Do you think this is the story is about this? No, the story was not about raining a lot. No. Ants weave their legs together. Okay? But was this story mostly about ants and how they weave their legs? No. The ant raft can float. Okay? So after the ants weave their legs, they form something called an ant raft. Was this what the whole story about? No. Number 4, ants help each other out. Yes. See here, the story was how the ants, they work together and how they help each other out. So number 4 is the main idea. Okay. Number 5, soon the ants will be safe. Okay, we said that the ants, after they weave their legs, they form a raft, and then they stay floated until the rain stops. So all the other sentences are key details, are details that tell us about the main idea. Again, what is the main idea? What is the whole story about? The whole story is about how ants work together to help each other out. This number 4 is the main idea, and the other sentences 1, 2, 3, and 5 are details that help us understand the main idea, which is how ants help each other. Okay? And these are the answers. Okay? That's it.